What is going on, Freedom Fighters? Welcome back to another Tyranny Response Tuesday here on Break the Chains Media. Today is Tuesday, January 13th, 2026, and I am your host, Corey. We're coming at you live with a lot of great and wild, interesting hot takes, interesting twists and turns, all these crazy things happening today. I know it's coming in a little late, but the information's here just the same. We're going to be breaking those chains. We're going to be crushing the facts and truth and information, bringing it hot and live right to you. But it is the first time joining Break the Chains Media. Hit that thumbs up button. Share this with all your friends and family. Be a part of the chain breakers, because that is how we move the needle. That is how we move freedom forward, by being chain breakers, by persevering and pushing through against the world of tyranny, deceit, and corruption, right? That is how we do it. That is what we need to be doing. But today we got a lot to get into, because the Supreme Court case, right? The Supreme Court ruling over the trans girls and boys sports and all this stuff. Hey, what is going on, Greg? Appreciate you coming in. Greetings from Florida. My man. You get a big old treasure chest. Thank you for jumping in the stream, Mr. Greg. Appreciate you coming in. But the Supreme Court ruling, we were talking about the Supreme Court, and they were hearing oral arguments regarding the men in women's sports and the potential that they will be allowed to be banned or taken out. The court seems likely to allow the state banning of trans athletes in school sports. I mean, folks, why are we even having an argument? Why are we using the Supreme Court's energy to even have this discussion? It's a pretty cut and dry case, and I'm not talking about the cutting and drying of children's genitals. I'm talking about a cut and dry case that we shouldn't be having this discussion at all. Men play men's sports, women play women's sports, end of discussion. But alas, we live in an upside down clown world, and this is what we have to spend our Supreme Court's time on, rather than Second Amendment rights, rather than gun rights, rather than freedom of speech, rather than criminal corruption and all these other massive amounts of other cases that they could be talking about. But anyways, we're going to get into all that. We are also going to get into the crazy state of Argentina and these fires that are burning down there. It is summertime down there in Argentina, but there's fires ablaze in Patagonia, and Javier Milei, my boy Javier Milei, is under some fire, pun intended, that he passed some laws and he's moving some legislation around, cutting some red tape, as Javier Milei is known well to do, cutting through some of this bureaucracy down in Argentina. But it doesn't look that good, because when it comes down to it, looks like he was basically allowing foreign interests to purchase fire damaged, or fire burned parts of Argentina. If that forest fire came through Patagonia, different parts of Patagonia, apparently that he was allowing foreign interests to buy up the land, and there's a big controversy regarding that. So we're going to get into all that. We are also going to touch base on some of this conversation with Bill Clinton being held under contempt, and some other conversations about the current zeitgeist, the current ethos, what's happening in the world today. But like I said, folks, smash that thumbs up button, be a part of the chain gang, and if you aren't part of Rumble Premium, if you are not a premium Rumble creator, the last little bit of my live stream today is going to be behind the Rumble Premium paywall. So I highly encourage you to sign up, be a part of Rumble Premium. We're going to be doing maybe about 20-30 minutes. Who am I kidding? At least 30 minutes talking about the real issues, and then we're going to be going behind that paywall. So make sure you are part of Rumble Premium to be part of the premium content creators here on Rumble. But you can check out Break the Chains Media, check out Realm Walker Hot Sauce, go to breakthechains.media to get that hot sauce that you like. Click on Realm Walker Hot Sauce, follow Realm Walker Hot Sauce on Instagram, or message Break the Chains Media to pick up a bottle of Realm Walker Hot Sauce. Travel the 9 realms of Norse mythology through hot sauce, from mild and medium to extreme heat. Let's go. Let's get it going, because you can pick up, I've got the smokiest, hottest, literally Ragnarok is probably the hottest hot sauce I've ever made. And it is smoked chocolate super hot peppers and green chilies. Highly recommend. One of my favorites. So pick up your bottle of Realm Walker hot sauce. Message Realm Walker hot sauce on Instagram or reach out to Break the Chains Media. And then light up them chainsaws, folks. We're cutting through the bureaucracy, cutting through the bloat, cutting through corruption, because the Chainsaw Caucus is coming for you, you globalists, deep state bureaucrats. That's what we're doing. Chainsaw Caucus is a 527 pack, nationally recognized. Be a part of the Chainsaw Caucus. If you do not want to see waste, fraud, and abuse, that is the topic of 2026 so far. So if you don't want to see waste, fraud, and abuse, you be a part of Chainsaw Caucus. $10 a month gets you involved with our cause here, cutting through waste, fraud, and abuse. In the description of this live stream right below here, there is a pinned link right there. The Chainsaw Break the Chains Media Chainsaw Caucus affiliate link is in the description down below. Click on that. Join Chainsaw Caucus for $10 a month. Helps our cause here at Break the Chains Media as well as Chainsaw Caucus. But without further ado, we're jumping into it. We're getting into it. Let's go. Let's go. Give yourselves a round of applause. Thanks for everyone to be here. Say hello to the chat. Who we got in the chat? Looks like we got Just Mike coming in. Buenos noches. It is a little later in the day. I am aware of that. I apologize if it's not ideal. However, life comes at you fast. You got a lot of stuff coming at you. Many things had to be done today, and it just is what it is. But maybe it works out for other people. Maybe a little bit later in the day works out for other people. I know we are streaming over some other live streamers here on Rumble, but it is what it is. Maybe it'll work out better in my favor too. We'll see. Salty Grower, wowee, let's go. Here we are, rocking and rolling. Let's be a part of it. Mike Dickerson, welcome. Appreciate you jumping in, man. Good to see you, Mike. Good to see you. All right, here we are going in. Let's hit the tires and light the fires. And I'm not talking about the fires in Patagonia. What a goddamn shame. But there is some nefarious, some shady deals going on there. But let's start with the Supreme Court ruling. This was from yesterday.
Case. Now let's take the West.
Start from the beginning.
We'll hear arguments tomorrow, and what's shaping up to be.
So this was from yesterday. I posted this yesterday. Which one? Salty Grower. Which one? The NGOs or Boulder or I definitely had a few. Definitely had a few that were blasting off. I did see you in there. I did see you repping the post though. But let's listen to this and then we'll see what we throw our 2 cents in on it, right?
It's tomorrow, and what's shaping up to be this high-profile case. Now, let's take the West Virginia case first, where we find transgender student athlete Becky Pepper Jackson. We've reported on Becky Pepper Jackson and this case for several years. Now it's just making its way to the Supreme Court. Pepper Jackson, born a biological male, sued in West Virginia to be able to play on girls' sports teams. She won and played, but then a state ban came into effect. Fox Digital recently heard from 2 students who say they were intimidated by Becky Pepper Jackson. The American Civil Liberties Union is representing the transgender student and say she's been unfairly attacked over the years. Now to the Idaho case originating with a transgender athlete named Lindsay Hecox, who originally sued to be able to play
Wait. Stop, folks. Really quick. Did SNL write this script? Did SNL write this? I'm sorry. It was... Hold on. We got to rewind this because holy shit. Okay. I'm going to do this. I'm going to press the button. We're going to press the record button because I think it's going to be fucking hilarious. But let's just take a quick listen here, folks. Rewind. Hold on, folks.
Lindsay Hecox.
Okay. Yeah. We're going to bring it back a few seconds. Let's go.
Attacked over the years. Now to the Idaho case originating with a transgender athlete named Lindsay Hecox, who originally...
Wait, Lindsay Hecox. So let me get this straight. If SNL is writing this, the Supreme Court, folks, take a quick beat on that. Lindsay Hecox is fighting for their trans rights in the Supreme Court. Lindsay Hecox. You can't make this stuff up, folks. This is insane. This is incredible. You could, like, any other name, maybe if you're going to change your identity, if you're going to identify as something else, maybe you shouldn't have the last name of Hecox if you're transitioning. Just a thought. But let's keep going. Holy shit.
Sued to be able to play on women's sports teams at Boise State University. She has since asked the Supreme Court to block the case.
Of course, as always. What's holding
citing
me up?
intimidation and harassment, but the justices will decide if they will do so after oral arguments tomorrow. Now, if her...
Okay. I don't know why. Sometimes this plays fine. Sometimes it plays absolutely ridiculous. But, okay, whatever. That's enough. That's enough of that. But holy shit, folks. That's hilarious. That is absolutely hilarious. Lindsay Hecox in the trans rights Supreme Court sports playing on other teams. That's ridiculous. What is going on? Sick of shitty gov. What is going on? Treasure chest for you. Bada bing, bada boom. Let's go. We got this. But, folks, this was from yesterday, but I've got some new updates from the oral arguments. I wanted to get some highlights of Ketanji Brown Jackson. That, if there's anyone that got like the most nationally recognized DEI hire, was Ketanji Brown Jackson. Is it Ketanji Brown Jackson or Ketanji Jackson Brown? I don't know, and quite frankly, I don't give a shit. I don't care. But she had some very absolutely ridiculous things to say in these hearings. Let me see if I can actually pull it up here. Let me go over here to open up the Explore page. Ketanji, how do I even say that? Oral. I don't know if that's a good thing to write in the feed. Hold on, let me check this out. Ketanji Brown Jackson oral argument. I guarantee you there's some ridiculous things. Is it Ketanji Jackson Brown? Ketanji. I don't even know how to spell her fucking name. KBJ. Let's just do that. What? Supreme Court. Wait, stop it. Sorry. Is everything okay? X, is everything okay? It's like not loading. There we go. Let's check it out. I wanted to get some clips from Ketanji Jackson Brown trash. Is that her name? Like, I feel like I'm fucking it up Ketanji Brown Jackson. Okay. All right. Thank you, Mike. I don't want to keep repeating myself 10 different times, but, Ketanji Brown Jackson. Yeah. So it would be KBJ. Why does it not... Yeah, I want to see some videos of her, folks. I'm trying to pull some videos up. I know I'm doing this last minute, but yeah, I feel like it's a requirement. Yeah, Ketanji Brown Jackson Kuntanji. That's actually a really good way to remember it, Seth. Kuntanji, yeah, absolutely. Give me some of these videos, though. Media. Let me just type her name. Kuntanji Brown Jackson. Yes, right? Because I want to hear some of her dumb fucking takes. Wait, why is this... Is this a video? No. Sorry, guys. I'm just like... I know I'm showing up late and... Okay, let's check it out. Because she didn't know what a woman was before. What makes you think she's going to be able to rule on the Supreme Court to define what a woman is now if she couldn't define it what it was before? So this is the consistency, the fallacy that we're dealing with right now. So let's take
classification. Everybody has to be play on the team that is the same as
what a painful DEI hire.
Their sex at birth. But then you have a gender identity definition that is operating within that, meaning a
Gender identity
distinction,
doesn't
meaning
exist.
that
No.
for cisgender girls, they can play consistent with their gender identity. For transgender girls, they can't.
Transgender
So
girls
I
aren't
think
real.
okay. So as to the part about your ability to pass over from boy to girl, where
Yes.
you can go from one way but not the other. I want to be clear that BPJ is not challenging that specific classification. I think that's important to start with. But I think, if anything, that's useful evidence as to the lack of a transgender-based discrimination, because if the legislature were just sort of unsettled by the notion of transgender athletes, I think the answer would have been to then bar them from
No, I
passing over in any
appreciate
way
that.
consistent with their gender.
I appreciate that. I guess I was getting at the what I understood
I
the Chief
hate
Justice
this
to
bitch.
be trying to
Right.
discuss, which was this notion that this is really just about the definition of we accept that you can separate boys and girls, and we are now looking at the definition of a girl, and we're saying only people who were girl assigned at birth qualify.
Folks, that is a person on the Supreme Court. That is a person on the Supreme Court speaking. Do you hear how stupid she is? Do you hear how absolutely dumb she sounds? Compare her. I'd like to hear what Alito or what's the other guy's name? I'm drawing a blank right now. The other black guy. I'm drawing a blank. But yes, the base Supreme Court gentleman. This guy. Wow. Why can't I think of his name? Drawing a blank. She has no right. She has no right to be on the Supreme Court. Biden himself said that he was going to do a DEI hire. Essentially, he said he wanted to hire a black woman or put in a black woman to the Supreme Court. This is absolutely insane. There's no reason why she should be there. Yes. Let's go, dude. Sent you a message. Yeah, thanks, dude. I will check it out in a little bit. Let's listen to. Yeah, let me see if I can find. Let's go this way. Check it out.
The Supreme Court is hearing arguments over state laws barring transgender girls and women from playing on school.
Yeah, I don't need to say that. Folks, this is my biggest gripe, is the fact that we are wasting our Supreme Court's time and our Supreme Court's energy. Oh, Clarence Thomas. Sorry. That just suddenly came to me. Clarence Thomas. Clarence Thomas is the based Lord of all lords. We just need to copy and paste Clarence Thomas into all Supreme Court positions because he has the most reasonable, honest, accurate interpretation of the Constitution and how our system of governance should apply. Clarence Thomas is the based Lord of all lords, and we should just have Clarence Thomas synths sitting on the Supreme Court. But I digress. Point I'm trying to make here, folks, is that we are wasting our Supreme Court's time talking about fucking transgender rights. I'm sorry, but it's just like
In West Virginia.
we should not be having conversations about who should be playing in what sport and what sport should and what gender should be here or there or otherwise. What about the Second Amendment? What about all of the gun rights? What about all of the infringements on our Second Amendment, on the actual standing of our Constitution, right? What about that? I'm just sick and tired of seeing Supreme Court justices. I'm sick and tired of seeing the Supreme Court. Let me just take a beat. Let me take a beat. I am sick and tired of seeing the Supreme Court have to quabble over social issues and non-issues or very low on the totem pole issues about children being mentally manipulated to determine whether they're a boy or girl or this, that, and the other, and transgenders in school sports. Why are we wasting time the Supreme Court's time taking up these type of issues when our Second Amendment rights have been on blast for many years by many different states. I know the 10th Circuit in Colorado, what's happening in Colorado is completely unconstitutional. We are dealing with Second Amendment crisis here in Colorado, but yet they won't deal with that. They won't touch those Supreme Court cases. And not only that, the Supreme Court cases that actually do get picked up are like few and far between. They used to go through almost 200 court cases a year through the Supreme Court, upwards of 180 to 200 Supreme Court cases. Now we're lucky if we get 70 to 80 every session that the Supreme Court deals with. So right now we have the Supreme Court being slowed down, being dealt with all this dumb shit, and they're dealing with all these social issues. Cut and dry, folks. It's cut and dry. Supreme Court case shouldn't even been had. Boys playing boys sports and women's playing women's sport, and anybody that's identifying as a different gender under the age of 18 is child abuse. Any child that is under the age of 18 that identifies as this, that, or the other, or a parrot, or a unicorn, or a pirate, or a mermaid, it doesn't matter. None of that really applies under the age of 18 in anything. And if a parent is applying some sort of gender ideology or gender affirming care or gender affirming identity onto a child under the age of 18, I think it's child abuse. My own opinion. Take it or leave it. That's how I say it. Send it. Go with it. Take it to the bank. I don't give a shit, but that's where I'm standing on that. But the Supreme Court shouldn't be dealing with this shit. They shouldn't be dealing with it. Sorry. Not sorry. I apologize a little bit, just for swearing, not because of my position. You know what I'm saying? I'm just over it. I'm just so over these leftists and these indoctrinate cultural Marxist psychopaths. They're all cultural Marxist psychopaths who sit here, who inject their disgusting and twisted views of the world, and they totally weaponize government, weaponize legislation against us to subjugate us, to curtail our rights, and claim it's for the progress of other one's rights. It's absolutely insane. Sorry, I'm just ranting now. But folks, this is going to be interesting to see how it comes out, see how it plays out. But the fact that the Supreme Court has to even have these conversations is a waste of their fucking time. Seriously. But it does appear that the Supreme Court is likely, it does seem likely. Yeah, after that ranting, sorry. I kind of went on a rant there, but I hope you enjoyed that. But point I'm trying to make is the Supreme Court seems likely to allow the state banning of trans athletes in school sports, which would be a good thing. The Supreme Court seems likely to allow state bans of trans athletes in school sports. This is a win because we shouldn't have even had this go to the Supreme Court in the first place because biological gender is the definitive factor on how we determine who plays and who does what sports and what physical activities. Is biology, is the essence of biology. Doesn't matter how you wear your hair, doesn't matter your clothes, doesn't matter how you present yourself. If you have an XX chromosome, you are a woman. And if you are an XY chromosome, you are a man. And that is about it. Outside of the very minute differentiating 0.1 factor of the three chromosome anomalies, but that's neither here nor there, right? That is what that's the angle that we need to focus on, folks. And hopefully we see a firm settlement and this is all quashed and done, but we will see what the Supreme Court arises after this kind of mulls over. But we are going to transition now. We're doing pretty good on time because I wanted to do one more solid segment. Folks, if you are enjoying this stream, hit that thumbs up button, smash it, be a part of it, be a part of the chain breakers here on Break the Chains Media. That's what we do. That's what we're going with. Let's Make it happen. Let's do it. Anyways. Oh, wait. Did I really make it that small? Let's do it like that. Great. Love it. Anyways, moving right along. I gotta fix my camera framing, because my camera framing is a little wonky, but I'll fix it tomorrow. Oh, speaking of that, tomorrow, folks, there will not be a live stream tomorrow. There will be live on the ground coverage tomorrow, but there will not be an in the studio live stream tomorrow, because we're going to be on the ground covering Tina Peters' appeal case downtown Denver, as well as the first day of session in the Mile High City, the Centennial State, the commie enclave of Colorado. So if you want to see on-the-ground coverage of all that, you got to smash that like button. You got to smash that follow button. Be a part of the Chain Breakers. That's what we do. So I will be covering on the ground tomorrow, and it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a fun time. But without further ado, we're jumping into the next segment here. Wildfires in South Argentina rip through nearly 12,000 hectares of forest, threatening communities. Raging wildfires across the Argentine Patagonia have blazed through 12,000 hectares of scrubland and planted native forest, threatening local communities, according to firefighting authorities. The AP video, shot by Maxie Jones. Stay ahead of the news. No, thank you, AP. What do we have? Is it just a video? Let's watch this video, because we're setting the stage, folks. We're setting the table. We're setting the we're getting it all geared up and going, because this is what is happening here. It's actually really interesting because you know I talk a good game on Javier Milei, but I got some facts. I got some interesting information regarding Javier Milei and his decisions and his decisions he made to cut through the bureaucracy and deregulate some of the things, and we're seeing some of that results right now with these fires. But let's get into it here. Oh, it's just a camera roll.
Son más grandes los incendios porque la sequía son otras, ¿no?
Cheers,
Estos años vienen muy secos, no está nevando en las cordilleras en invierno, estamos escasos de agua en los ríos, los arroyos, así que sí.
Hopefully this will be the last
Ojalá
fire
que
in
este sea
our
el último
region.
incendio en nuestra comarca.
Wildfires raged. The fire was in the area was hell, really. 12,000 hectares. My neighbors hadn't woke up since I was taking a nap. I wouldn't be here to tell the tale. I wouldn't be here at all. So, I mean, obviously, wildfires are common. Wildfires have always been a thing. But it's actually rather interesting because there are some other stuff that kind of took place that added to the additional problem in Argentina. So this is actually from on the ground from DD Geopolitics on Twitter. But Sick of Shitty Gov says, I'm premiering Chapter 1 of the Second U.S. Civil War at 8:45 p.m. Central if anyone is interested in listening along. I will actually check that out if I can wrap up in time. 8:45 Central. What is that? That is 7:45. So about an hour, right? Central. Am I doing the math right on that? Yeah. I should be able to land in there. I might even possibly even rage if I'm there. I might actually be done before that. But I will definitely go check you out, Sick of Shitty Gov. That sounds great, because that is where we're at right now, folks. That's what I'm talking about with the whole buckle up thing, dude. The buckle up thing is going to be a Rumble Premium. I'm going to be jumping into that in a minute. But, folks, we are, like, there ain't no off-ramps. You better buckle up, because gas is going pedal to the metal. We are driving head first into uncharted territory here in the world, here in 2026. It is getting hot. It is getting heavy. And Sick of Shitty Gov, I think you know what I'm talking about. It's going to be interesting to see what plays out in 2026. It is getting wild, though. But the things are heating up, but not quite as much as in Patagonia. In Patagonia, though, in Argentina, there are water storage, water tankers, but they are being sabotaged. Firefighters in Patagonia posted a video evidence proving that little equipment that they had was being sabotaged. So let's check out this video here.
Bueno,
it's
acá
absolutely crazy. Actually, hold on, let me turn down the volume here. Let's go with this here. Firefighters in Patagonia posted a video evidence proving that what little equipment they had was sabotaged. You see the water reservoirs being smashed and broken, so all the water leaks out. This isn't fire damage, folks. They came in and these pipes were deliberately smashed and broken.
Bueno, acá rompieron la salida. Se nota que intentaron pinchar el tanque con un cuchillo o algo.
Water punctures, knives. Looks like some sort of axe or some sort of blunt object breaking these things. But we're seeing this happen, play out. We're seeing this break out while the wildfires are raging in Patagonia. It's devastating, and tying that into the policies that Javier Milei has cut away, right? Javier Milei cut away some of this bureaucracy, some of this legislative hang-ups that were causing this. And folks, don't get me wrong. Don't get it twisted, because there's so much environmentalism and so much of this, these climate change activists or these climate change alarmists that lose their collective shit when it comes to wildlife and firefighting and fire mitigation and the proper steps to save the planet, all these things. And I want to make sure that, like, I do want the safest and most healthiest methods moving forward. You want to make sure that you are operating in good faith when it comes to fire mitigation and wildlife management. But some of the regulations that these progressives, these leftists, these socialists, or just plain Democrats in general, there is so much red tape and oversight that goes into preserving the 3-spotted fish and the native rooted plant that only lives on this cliffside of this certain rock formation. There are so many legislative hangups and red tape when it comes to environmentalism. So when Javier Milei cuts through some of this environmentalism crap, I'm all for it. I understand that, but there's also a minimum requirement and preservation tactics to make sure that your wildlife reserves and your preservation tactics are done the right way. And there's a conversation going. Apparently, he's allowing foreign investors or foreign countries to purchase fire-damaged land in Argentina, particularly in Patagonia. And there's this larger conversation that, well, maybe this is being where is it at? Maybe what's being sabotaged is intentional, so that these private investors and these private firms can come in and pick up the fire damaged land on the dollar, cheap on the dollar. So there is these questions to be raised. It is going to be interesting to see what comes out of this post the fire damage, right? But let me see here. I pulled up some articles here. President Milei trying to get land sold by foreigners. President Javier Milei moved quickly to remove Argentina's 2011 law limiting foreign purchases of rural land, issuing a decree that aimed at repeal the Ley de Tierras and eliminate caps on foreign hectares. But judges have already suspended part of that measure, and litigation has left the repeal implementation contested and practice paused. So it is not fully gone to effect. However, it is going through litigation, and Milei pushed a deregulatory mega decree to open land markets to allow for Argentinian land to be purchased by foreign private investors. And I know that it on its face sounds bad, and maybe there's some nefarious goings on, or some other foreign entities from certain countries coming in on the cheap and maybe trying to do this intentionally. There's lots of conversations on other platforms that there are some Israeli assets that might be doing some nefarious deals. Nothing's been confirmed, but it does not surprise me when you see this kind of cutting the ties and cutting the bureaucracy and the red tape. You're going to get some bad actors coming in here trying to make a big deal, trying to make a buck off of some of this cutting of legal litigation, right? Legal pushback and the pause from the judiciary in Argentina. The administration's effort has not gone unchallenged. Federal Judge Ernesto Kreplak, yeah, I said that right, issued injunctions suspending the article that abolished the law 26737, and subsequent provisional court rulings have kept the law effectively in force while the case is processed, meaning that the legal repeal is frozen pending a higher court resolution, and a web of protective writs and appeals is underway. So there looks like there's a larger legal, like it sounds very similar to what Trump's doing here. Like there's a lot of judge hangups in Argentina, just like what's happening in America here. If the repeal stands, proponents inside business and real estate circles expect increased foreign demand for rural hectares, arguing that with the 2011 law depressed capital inflows and land values compared with other countries. The administration's framing is explicitly pro-market and oriented to attract foreign direct investment under liberalized rule. Observers note, however, that urban property was already unrestricted and that impact will vary by province because the original law's application and province's own rules created a patchwork of exposure to foreign buyers, meaning that there was already still some areas that were open to foreign investments or foreign purchasers, but this is specifically talking about fire-burned areas or wildfire damaged land will be allowed to be purchased by foreign entities. Politics and hidden incentives. Whose interests are served? The push to lift limits of dovetails with Malay's wider economic strategy of rapid deregulation, tax changes, and courting foreign capital. Analysts flag that powerful private international investors stand to profit from expanded access to Argentina's rural land, and at the same time, the administration has portrayed repeal as correcting distortions and promoting growth, which aligns with the political project of shrinking state controls and signaling friendliness to global capital. I do see arguments on both sides. I do side with the cutting of the bureaucracy and promoting growth and allowing this open market of global investors to come in. But if you don't have a strong established system of what land should be and what land should not be available for foreign investors, and the extent of what foreign investors can come in and do, right? Like can any foreign investor just come in and buy and do anything they want, or is there a limitation to what they can what they can do with the land? But that land being open to foreign investment allows the growth and development of the Argentinian market. So I do see both sides of this, but at the end of the day, where things stand now and what to watch next. As of the latest reporting, the decree's articles repealing the land law have been subject to injunctions and are tied up in judicial review, meaning the 2011 protections remain in force until higher courts rule or Congress acts, and international and diplomatic observers, including the U.S. reporting, have noted that the revocation, whilst also documenting broader policy shifts that affect investment conditions. The real-world outcomes will depend on court rulings, whether Congress affirms or rejects the DNU, and provincial responses, and whether the accompanying measures, tax breaks, investments, and incentives attract the scale of foreign capital proponents promise. So we will actually see, it will come to a head on what actually happens with Javier Milei and him deregulating the do not forget the day Congress armored the DNU that allows Milei to borrow without conditions. That's a totally different article. But Javier Milei deregulating and opening up Argentinian land and on Argentinian prospects to foreign markets does have its incentive on. I do believe it does mean well. It does sound like it's going to be a good thing. However, there are some other interests that might be involved with Argentina. There might be some other prospects that maybe the deregulation might not all be good on its forefront. You might see some exploitation from other global interests, and you don't want any country to be sold out, right? And that's where I'm at. Like, I don't want any. If I'm an Argentinian, I don't want my country to be sold out. If I'm German, I don't want my German country to be sold out, but I'm an American, so I don't want my American country to be sold out, right? So I do see the double-sided argument, right? And then you also have the conversation about China, right? Sends a letter to Xi Jinping requesting the renewal of the swap of foreign ministry, preparing direct contact. So if Malay's opening up foreign markets, meanwhile Trump is pulling Venezuelan dictators out to try to reestablish democracy through Venezuela, like Argentina deregulating stuff might allow for other foreign interests to be involved in Argentina. Like if Trump is actually running with the Monroe Doctrine, and if Milei and Trump are kind of on the similar page or a similar mindset together, having Javier Milei open fire-damaged areas of Argentina and Patagonia to foreign interest and foreign investors might not be the best thing for American interest as well. So there's a lot of geopolitics that are going into this whole conversation, folks. But you let me know what you think in the comments and in the live stream. You let me know in the chat over here. What do you think the right outcome is for Javier Milei to do? I do enjoy the energy, and I do enjoy this kind of behavior, the deregulation, the open of markets, allowing people and investors to come in, buy, sell, trade, to build that type of economy. But if it's going to be exploiting the behavior, and if it's going to be exploiting and weaponizing commerce and weaponizing that industry, weaponizing markets against the best interest of Argentinian people or the best interest of the American people, whatever have you, right? If you don't want to see your country sold out, I wouldn't want my farmland or my forest land or whatever kind of land. I don't want to see the Front Range here in Colorado be sold out to a foreign investor because they passed some law or decree. So you let me know what you think Javier Milei's tactic or strategy is in the long run. Maybe it's good, maybe it's not. Time will tell. Time will always be our ally. But folks, that kind of does it here for the standard issue broadcast here on Break the Chains Media. We are going to be wrapping up here, going to a premium, Rumble premium creator, premium content, unfiltered, uncensored, my 2 cents on it. But you got to be on Rumble Premium, folks. You got to be a premium Rumble user to be part of that. So I hope you guys are all ready. I hope you guys are ready to rock and roll, because we are going to be going over it. I'm just cleaning up some of this other stuff right now while I bring in exactly what I wanted to show you, because we've got a lot to go over here as far as Rumble Premium content. Only you'll be able to find out. So in just a few moments, we're going to be jumping over here, folks. But I can't believe that. Fuck that. That's bullshit. Sorry, we're saving it for Rumble Premium, folks. So jump over to Rumble Premium, be a premium subscriber, and we'll see you very soon. Bye-bye for now.